Come on, bitch, let's go. Come on, get ready, bitches. You haven't seen nothing yet. Come on.
Valentino, Versace, Lamborghini, Bugatti. I got money to burn. I'm single and I'm naughty.
Come on.
Tiffany's, Cartier, Gucci, Armani.
Come on.
Break out your black card, boys. It's time to party.
It's funny. So today I was talking to someone about my really difficult circumstances I find myself in. Hopefully there will be a light at the end of the tunnel. Most of you know I'm going through a very difficult time right now. Not, of course, compared to the hardship of the world right now, which is so much worse than my situation, which is saying something because I'm homeless. I've been put in financial jeopardy. Everything is out of my control. I don't have anything anymore because it's all been destroyed. So it's like I'm in a pretty bad way, but still not as bad as the rest of the world with what's happening. This made me thoughtful for a moment. And before we get into all the New Jersey gossip and other gossip I'm spilling today, as well as I'm going to take you through some dives of Seth MacFarlane and Kevin Spacey and some things like that I think you should be aware of in Hollywood that's happening.
Dr. Greenson took the secret of Marilyn Monroe's death to his grave. In a taped phone conversation, he told of the terrible burden he had carried.
I can't explain myself or defend myself without revealing things that I don't want to reveal. I feel like I can't, you can't turn around and say, well, I'll tell you this and I won't tell you that. It's terrible. You have to say, I can't talk about it because I can't tell the whole story.
But he did give one tantalizing clue.
Listen, talk to Bobby Kennedy.
Talk to Bobby Kennedy. There's a Hollywood secret for you to do with Marilyn Monroe's death. That, of course, was Dr. Greenson, who was her psychiatrist and implicated in the night of her death. I do a lot of deep dives with loads of evidence on the different things about Marilyn Monroe's death theories. And I even did an interview with P.I. Becky on Box 39, and the contents of which supposedly holds the secrets that Dr. Greenson took to his grave. That box is still at UCLA, and Becky was one of the few people to go through the box and see the contents in it. It's secret. It's a great story. And I have her notes from some of the boxes that she was able to open and what she saw in them. So if you love Marilyn Monroe, you should get in the Patreon and do that deep dive. It's fun. Okay, so back to my deep thought that I want to share with you and my little story. So I went to meet with somebody about the horrific thing that happened to my living arrangements, and the person took me in and we started talking, and they said to me, you should just put your belief in God and trust Jesus and some other wonderful thoughts and very sweet things. And they quoted the Bible and told me loads of things about the Bible and their initiatives and beliefs and what the Bible means and its interpretations and all of these things. And I said to them, listen, I come from a Catholic grandmother. My father was, when he was young, very religious. Most of my boyfriends have been Jewish. I've dated loads of different types of men. I mean, really the sky's the limit on that front. And the thing is that doing the Patreon, Dishing Drama Dana, has taken me on many a rabbit hole about leaders of countries like Gaddafi and Putin and Netanyahu and some leadership in America from time to time, and Khamenei and Ismail Haniyeh, and churches like Hillsong Church and Home Church and the Vatican and the Vatican Bank and the Kardashian Community Church and Lou Taylor's church, and a lot of churches, the Scientology, the Church of Satan, all the cults, like so many cults. I can't even, all different offsprings of different religions and things. And as I get into it and I learn all about this, it's like corruption, like for example, the Vatican was cleaning the money of one of the biggest mobsters in Italy. And so he was buried on the grounds of the Vatican. One of the worst people in Italy, killed so many people, buried on the grounds of the Vatican. Leaders with sex tapes and orgies and cheating on their wives and murders of innocent people that look to that leader for safety and protection and to do things for their interests, not just the nation state's interest. Just to be raped, murdered, left to starve, really. There's numerous examples of this. Power hungry and been in power for way too long for so many reasons. And I don't want to bore you. I mean, you guys know I was a major at USC for political science, a minor in business. And I really dig politics, but I can't really talk about it because it's not in my wheelhouse over in Bravo land. And of course, I'm civilly dead. They took me off the pitch. But needless to say, a bunch of people staying in power way too long because we've learned in political science that the longer you stay in power and the more you don't have a cycle of new leadership or people voting, etc., that they stop looking out for the people and they forget why they're there and they start serving themselves, generally speaking. And I cannot understand what is happening to our world and how we've allowed this to happen. Anyway, at the end of this conversation, I looked at him and I said, listen, I don't believe in anything anymore. The only thing I believe in is myself, because I'm the only one in the end of the day that's ever going to save me. And so if I had any thoughts or messages for all of you guys out there, it's to remember, in the end of the day, you have to save you. Take it and apply it where needed. And believe me, the people I've studied based on their character don't have the answer you're looking for.
Come on, bitch, let's go.
All right, so let's get to the real show now that I got that off my chest. Every now and then I have to do something like this. I get upset. All right, so let's get into some New Jersey gossip just because we're on that train right now. And then, what did you guys think of my Dave Canton deep dive? Was that shocking? I know. That was such a good one. I was so proud of that stuff that I found out about the Ponzi scheme and everything. So, all right, so let's now get into some New Jersey gossip, and then I want to talk to you about what came out as some of the highlights in the Kevin Spacey show that dropped on HBO Max. Wowzers. So first, let's start off with Andy Cohen. Andy Cohen has his 15th anniversary of Watch What Happens live the other night. It was at the Boom Boom Club, and surprisingly, quite a few Real Housewives of New Jersey cast members attended, which shocked some of the fans. Teresa Giudice was there. Joe Gorga was there. I think Melissa Gorga was there, although I didn't see her, but I heard she was there. And Margaret Josephs went. And noticeably missing Jennifer Aiden and some of the people who haven't been on the show for very long. There was also video dropped of Scheana Shay. Luis Ruelas was there with Teresa on the red carpet wishing Andy his best wishes. Let me see, I could play you a quick clip.
Congratulations, Andy, on 15-year anniversary and Watch What Happens Live. Love, love, love you.
Congratulations, Andy. 15 years. Keep going.
Andy, congratulations on 15 years. This show has been so much fun to be a part of. I couldn't be happier for you.
Andy, mazel on 15 years. I'll never forget my first time being able to come to the studio in person. Bucket list, game changer. Love you so much.
Yes, Andy, mazel. Thank you for everything, for the incredible opportunities and memories over the years, and for lighting up our lives on the screens forever. We're so glad to be a part of your life, and it's an honor. I love you.
Well, it's true. Andy Cohen's working overtime with the positive publicity spins. If you noticed, he's been in a ton of articles, and now out of the blue, a 15th anniversary, not a 20th anniversary, not a 10-year anniversary, a 15th anniversary? All right, we'll go for it. Anyway, they're going to be making a special, which is coming out on June 30th. It's going to be on Peacock, I'm sure, and Bravo, honoring the 15 years that Andy Cohen has done Watch What Happens Live, and they're going to be showing the party and probably little BravoCon-y type moments. Remember, they're not doing a BravoCon this year. They said they're going to do it next year. They said that the reason was that they needed time, the venue wasn't available, blah, blah, blah. But whatever, that's what they're saying. And they've been doing these little small events in Los Angeles and New York. This is, I guess, another one sort of, as part of this, like, we got to keep the momentum of the fans and the influencers, but at the same time, we don't want to do BravoCon. So that's what's going on. And I don't think it's totally the truth, but I'll drink from the Kool-Aid for today's show. For you. I heard Teresa Giudice is trying to relaunch her podcast, so we'll see who she's going to pick as her new co-host and what the name of it's going to be. So that's exciting if you're a Teresa Giudice fan. If you're a Melissa Pfeister fan, I hope that you will tune into her show because she has a show that she does called Side Piece, which is great. If you haven't heard it, I was on it. It's a great show. So was Frank Catania and a bunch of other people that you would appreciate. So as you may have remembered, on my YouTube channel, DecaDishDana, I had played a video about gossip that Gabriela had said to the guy, we don't say his name, who's got his own podcast. And on there, she said that she had heard from Luis Ruelas that James Leonard had leaked some tea to him about the one, the only, Delores Catania's man, Paulie Connell, right? She said that. She was told by Luis Ruelas that Paulie Connell and his ex-wife were in business together and they would never divorce because Paulie actually ran some sort of brothel with his ex-wife, so they can't really split up ever because of this. And I'm going to get into some detail in a minute with follow-up gossip I got from Gabriela about this. So of course, I'm like dying. When I hear this, I do a YouTube video about it, amongst other things, including the weird mortgage that was taken out by an inactive company in Florida for Luis Ruelas' $1 million mortgage that he took out back in, March of 2024 on the house that him and Teresa live in. Anyway, it was in that video. And what happened was I was like, Gabriela, please fill me in on the tea. I also wanted to check in on her because she got sent two people saying that they saw awful things on the internet. One was from a approved account, Teresa's #1 tree stump. I mean, why would Teresa ever want this associated with her brand? I don't know. But this fan of Teresa's said Melissa's old nose is done. She has been doxxed. Her daughter has been doxxed and a hit has been put out on her disabled child. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, in what universe does that help Teresa for you to post that? It's insane. I told her she should call the FBI and report that account, of course. That's an actual very scary threat. That wasn't the only one she got. She got some other ones, but that one really shocked me because it was a confirmed account, meaning their identity is known to X. So anyway, I asked her about the tea that I had spilled on this video that also included the $1 million to Luis Ruelas, and what it was that Gabriela had said that she heard from Luis Ruelas that James Leonard, Teresa's attorney, had said to Luis that Delores will never ever get to marry Paulie Connell because Paulie is never divorcing his wife, as he hasn't in 14 years or something they've been together. And this was because they ran a brothel together and so they couldn't leave each other. So anyway, I asked, this is shocking, right? So I asked Gabriela to share this information with me, a little more intel behind the scenes about this, because I'm like, this is shocking. And she didn't say this on my show. She said this on the guy's show that I don't talk about anymore. So anyway, Kim D doesn't like him. You know the story. So here's what Gabriela says. So the Paulie tea came after Teresa made it clear how pissed she was at Delores for going to the Gorga's cousin's wedding. Luis got on the phone and said Paulie will never marry Dolo. Him and his wife run whorehouses. And I was like, what? He said, Jim told me they run a couple of whorehouses and will never divorce. So I put that out on the show. If anything, Paulie will now know that he can't trust these people. By the way, I believe Luis Ruelas on this one. It was too detailed, the information. And then Gabriela said, by the way, to do with my Dina Manzo Dave Canton deep dive I did on Saturday, that she wanted me to know that at one point she offered to put up a post that was supportive to Dina Manzo. It's Teresa Giudice saying something nice about Dina Dina. And Teresa said, I want no part of any of it. She didn't say what any of it was, but she basically said, can you delete that supportive post? Now, to be fair, Dina Manzo had asked Teresa to keep her out of her mouth and the limelight and the show. And that was mainly to do with Dave Canton, who didn't want to be associated with Luis Ruelas. This is the gossip behind the scenes, because he didn't want his image in his business to get damaged by it with all the bad press that was coming out about Luis Ruelas. And there were other things, certainly. But it could be that Teresa was actually being really nice to Dina by saying this to Gabriela, like, let's not do anything about Dina. But Gabriela took it that she wasn't being supportive to Dina, which is another take. And so that made Gabriela believe that Teresa and Dina did have a falling out. Now, the gossip I have is they definitely did, and I actually know all the reasons why, and some of that's in the Patreon, and some of it isn't, because I can't ever tell. But I will say that they are not like they were. I mean, I don't think that they wouldn't say hi to each other, but they're not hanging out anymore. Okay, let's say that. Now, Gabriela also spilled what happens at the end in the final scene of the finale of Real Housewives of New Jersey. And she had said some of this on episode 181 of my show. But one thing she did leave out of my show was, I guess, some of the detail around the name calling between Jennifer Aydin and Danielle Cabral that actually caused production to shut down for a few days, because it was HR breaches and contract breaches and all these things. And so anyway, Gabriela tells the story. Let me play it for you. Again, I love when Gabriela sticks to the spoilers, because it really shows that someone on the inside, whether it be Jennifer Aydin or Teresa Giudice or James Leonard or whomever, Louis, that she was getting up to the minute news on what was happening behind the scenes that nobody else has, unless you're a cast member there at the time. So let me play this for you.
Even the finale, I mean, we can drop some more information in regards to season 14. The finale, I remember when it was filmed, Jennifer called me. She's like, oh my God, I really got Danielle. I said, you wear the bra and your husband has the boobs. And she was so pissed off because supposedly Nate Cabral had a gynecomastia surgery. And for people who don't know what that is, I guess maybe his chest was just a little bit big and he had a surgery to bring it down. No shade there, you do you. But Jennifer decided to say that to Danielle, and it set her off. Jennifer was throwing in her face how people are at her kids' parties. So then, boom, she brings up children. And what does Danielle do? She goes fucking crazy. She picks up this glass pitcher that has condensation on it, flings it at Jennifer. The salad plate goes all over her. Her martini, her drink gets all over her. Jennifer points to the door, looks at the producer, says, get her the fuck out of here. I want her out now. I want her out now. Danielle's like, I'm not going fucking nowhere. And then Teresa jumps in and she's like, I don't like that you just threw all that. I don't like that you did that. And then Melissa's like, she learned from the fucking best. And then Teresa turns to Melissa Gorgon. She calls her a whore. Then Margaret jumps in and says, I don't like that you said that. Then Teresa looks at Margaret and she's like, well, you have other problems to worry about. Your husband needs to keep his hands to himself. And it's a whole shit show. Jennifer's like, at the end of it all, the producers are like, we got to get everybody back in here. And then she acts like a queen and she's like, oh, okay, I'll let her sit at my table. I know what's going to take place. It's insane. It's so crazy. Watching it this season, it hits different. It's not like seasons before.
And so Dolores is left sitting at the table all by herself at this luncheon. Now you know. Oh, poor Delores. All right, so let me go back to Paulie Connell's wife for a second. For the full scoop, join the Dishing Drama Dana Patreon. The link is in this audio description. It's only $6 a month, and you'll get the best information and tea about the things you care about, and even the things you don't know you care about. What are you waiting for?